Hello and welcome to a very special Bastion and broadcast. But aren't they all special? I mean, it's rarely the same thing twice. It's rarely relevant to what you actually want me to be talking about. So today we're continuing that theme and we are playing, not playing that, we are playing Magic the Gathering online because, Romain has noticed the different music. Well, this is the music for Magic the Gathering Arena, which is the way to play it online at the moment. If it is way too loud, because there are a lot of noises and explosions in this game, do tell me and I can turn the audio down. But the reason I'm looking at this is, part of it is just because I want to, because I have literally, like, this past weekend bought some Magic the Gathering cards for the first time in... So I'm gonna do like a boring my history with Magic and then talk about why why this is actually relevant. But while I'm doing that, I am partway through playing through like the not quite the tutorials, but the color challenges on here, which are kind of like learning scenarios. And I have a couple of them left over. I have the final battle with white and blue, both of which are it's slightly loud, is it? There we go. Both of which are against an actual human, so I am going to have to slightly pay attention. But hopefully I can actually talk while we're doing that. So my history with like Magic is, like so many people, when I started to get into like Warhammer and like not quite D&D, like I was interested in D&D, but kind of the idea of role-playing games more than actual D&D. In the, the local shop where I would go and buy my Warhammer stuff occasionally, they had all these Magic the Gathering cards, and my friend and I picked up a couple of decks and we played for a little bit. So this would have been when I was about 13, 14 maybe. And I enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed playing it with a friend. And I just enjoyed collecting the cards, frankly. But we played it in a very casual way. So obviously this isn't like, okay, it's not amazing, but we'll keep that. So this wasn't like pre-internet, obviously, but it was before I had like easy, regular access to the internet. So the we played in a very casual way, and much like so many things, when you're playing it casually with a friend, it can be a lot of fun. And then when you sort of approach it in a serious way, and you start to get into like net decks and like not quite treating it like a solved game, but almost where you're coming to the table and one player has kind of already won based on the deck that they have against your deck. I'm going to be playing badly, by the way, because I'm talking at the same time. Normally, I would be world class, obviously. So once you sort of move away from that casual, I believe they call it kitchen table magic, for those in the know. Once you start to get away from that, it sort of appeals to me less, because it becomes a lot more about buying the right cards and having the right deck that you've downloaded from online. Whereas the appeal for me and my friend was always just like having cards with like awesome artwork that do crazy things, but not too wild, like no infinite combos or things like that. So the reason that I sort of got back into Magic, I think I saw a few people talking about it on a Discord that I'm in, and I sort of joined in the conversation as a little bit of a nostalgia trip to look back at what's happening with Magic. And the conversation was sort of around, hang on, let me just check what I'm doing here. I feel like scrying would be quite good to do. Okay, let's do it. Let's do some scry. I think I would rather have that, I think, next. Yeah. I think that was probably an error, because I am going to miss a land drop now, but that's life, isn't it? No, I won't. I'll be fine. So, yeah, once you start to move away from that kitchen table magic, it appealed to me less. So, to be honest, I kind of fell off it the first time, and then I only really discovered this kind of more competitive side of the game when I came back to it. This would have been when I was like, I'm sure it was when I was at university, so I would have been like 20. I would like to get rid of her. So, there is a way. So we can put her in a water knot. But that won't really stop her ability. Let's just do some stuff, because I don't want to spend the whole day strategizing. Yeah, that was a bit of a bad call. We'll attack, I think. Yeah, he won't do this trade, I'm sure. Maybe he will do the trade. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, the thing that started this whole getting back into Magic was the idea of these D&D cards. Now, I'm not so much interested in the D&D cards themselves, but the whole D&D Magic conversation kind of caught my attention and brought me back in. So I then realised that last year they had made a new kind of format for Magic that appealed to me a lot more, because it was a set called Jumpstart. Ooh. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Ah, shit, yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, you know what? Do we want to pay the life just to do that? I'm going to do it. It makes me look like it was deliberate if I do that. There we go. And then I guess we might as well attack. So the Jumpstart kit is, it's like a new, well, it's not a new set. It's some new cards, mostly old cards, but they're packaged in boosters that are 20 cards, and you just get 2 boosters. Each one has a theme. So one might be dinosaurs, one might be archaeology, and you shuffle them together, and you've got a 20 card deck ready to go. And this appealed to me a lot because I like the idea of kind of a very light deck building and picking what seems cool for your deck. So having these kind of, still lots of variety in the decks that you can make. But hang on, let's just look at this. So this Nightmare could be quite bad. But he's not too bad right now. Let's get this guy out, because he's going to make some other guys cheaper. And then let's water knot him. And then let's attack. So yeah, the Jumpstart thing appealed to me because I wanted to treat it more like a board game, almost like a self-contained box. Like, my dream was just to get all of the Jumpstart packs, and then, you know, if I'm playing with a friend or with my partner or with anyone, we can just each pick 2 of these kind of half decks, shuffle them together. It's, you know, it's smash up that card game that's been out for a while. But that appealed to me a lot, so I picked up some of them, played it with my partner, who she had never played Magic before. And her experience with Magic was, she was in the chess club when she was at school. We're the same age, and she said it's the tale as old as time. She would go to the chess club, and she would also see a lot of teenage boys playing Magic, but she felt like she couldn't go and ask to play. But she was always interested by it, which tells you a lot. So let me just see what's going on here. So this bird is back, so we don't want to target that bird really because of the ward. If we can just kill the bird, that would be ideal. That's nice to keep in our back pocket. That's good all round. Let's just pop out that. And then we will keep Glint in our back pocket. So any that get blocked here will kill their opponent. Kill their blocker, rather. So yeah, Jumpstart seems like a lot of fun. I'm very keen to keep on seeing what's going on with Jumpstart. I'm keen to get some more packs. Luckily, one of the Jumpstart boosters I got very lucky with buying these. I got like the last few of these kind of 4 booster sets that were going for like £15 for 4 boosters, which is very cheap for this range. Right, so shall I do that? Yeah. That was quite a good turn, I think. So yeah, I got these boosters quite cheap, and one of them had a card in it called Allosaurus Shepherd, which as soon as I opened it, I thought, I know that name because I've seen someone talking about this, and I looked it up, and that one card is apparently worth more than I spent on all of these boosters. So I think I bought 6 boosters total. No, sorry, I bought 12 boosters total. So I am selling that card to pay for everything that I bought already. And of course I will be reinvesting that money. Heaven forbid I should put it to good use. So let's bring in the Jin. I think we've got this now. I think we don't need to worry too much. So yeah, I can see the chat's going quite quickly today, so I am trying to keep an eye on the chat, but also not completely ruin my game. So Brendan Walsh saying about how Jumpstart was great, but it has some problems, and you can get screwed if your choices have 0 synergy. I agree. So when we played it at the weekend, neither of our decks really had much synergy, but we still kind of had a good time. So I think it's kind of good if you either both have no synergy, and you have to kind of just work around that, or if you both make it competitive. So I think there's a bit of balancing there. I'd almost be inclined to, yeah, just decide ahead of the game. Say, look, are we doing this with like some good picks or some bad picks? Yeah, and people talking about the D&D cards. To be honest, I don't have. People seem to be like very strongly on one side or the other on this, where they think this is like a really good thing, or they think, oh, it's the death of both properties. I think it's fine. I won't be going into my opinion on the individual cards. I think there's some good designs. Anyone who knows my thoughts on game design in general will know that I would always rather things be simpler and things be streamlined. And I would still say, despite some efforts made in that area, I would still say that Magic is not a streamlined, simple game. I think you can make it streamlined and simple with certain cards and sticking to like the core sets, but there is a lot of guff. And I'm just gonna tease. I am gonna be dropping some hot takes. This is not amazing. We'll take it. So I do have some hot takes that I will get to. They're not related to the D&D set. They're related to Magic in general. But they are the hot takes of somebody who used to play this game over 20 years ago. So take that with a pinch of salt. But just for full transparency, I did come back to Magic, like I said, in my 20s when Magic Online was a thing. I know they've had various iterations of their sort of online game. But this would have been around 2006 or something, I think. I think whenever Time Spiral was like new, because I remember that being the new thing at the time. And I enjoyed it there. But a lot of things I don't know if they did exist in the game when I played, but when I was like a teenager, I was mostly playing with commons from a big box of commons that they'd sell for like pennies in my local shop. So I didn't have a lot of fancy cards. Yeah, okay. So I didn't have a lot of cards back then. So when I came back to Magic, a couple of things that kind of bugged me were there were a lot of like fancy new mechanics that I quite liked. I liked like Morph and where you sort of play your cards face down. That felt like a very natural extension of like, you know, a card game. Let me just read who Zimone is first. So she brings out lots of lands, and then she can draw cards. Okay, nothing too scary in isolation. Do I want this cat to die? Probably not. We'll attack with the priest. A little bit risky, but we'll see. So when I came back, yeah, the thing that I quite enjoyed this element online, but then when I thought about playing with it at the table, I really didn't like it, and that was tokens. And I'm still like, I haven't played much at the table. Like I say, we've just played a few games this weekend, and I've played a little bit on Arena. But the whole idea of tokens to me just seems like a really odd choice. Like I get it, like it's a way to be able to have. It's like a mirror to the idea of having +1/+1 tokens. So the counters. +1/+1 counters go on a thing, they make it bigger, like vertical growth. I think I probably want to pacify one of these things, don't I? Yeah, let's do that. And then let's attack with my priest. No, let's not. Then we can attack with our fencer. I don't see why not. So yeah, tokens seems at odds with the whole idea of this being a card game. Like all of a sudden I have to have cards and a bunch of stuff. Counters I don't mind too much because taking some dice to use is like somehow like the threshold sits somewhere between those two things for me. Like I'm happy to have dice that I have to put on there as little counters to track my +1s here and there. But when I have to make like a brand new card essentially as a token, it just stresses me out, because I would love that if I had access to an infinite number of all of the different tokens like you do on online, in Arena rather. But the idea that like I've got all these, you know, cards with like really cool art, and you know it looks really cool when you've got your whole set laid out, and then all of a sudden I have to write on a scrap of paper, I have to write soldier 2/2. So I still don't like tokens, and I know that I'm like getting on for 20 years too late for that complaint, but that is my hot take number one. In terms of this match, I don't know, I'm not feeling confident yet. I haven't really So we probably want to get this guy in first, and then this guy next round. And again, I don't want to lose any of these, so we will do no attacks. Yeah, John Britton is saying about pauper format. So the other thing, like all the cool new formats that are around, like I was only used to playing like kitchen table Magic, and even when I played online, I just played whatever was standard or whatever it was at the time. And now I come back and everyone's talking about Commander, and I'm like, I've got no idea what Commander is. And then I do vaguely remember something about Highlander when I played way back. The idea of having a 100 card deck that are all like singleton, like you can't have a duplicate. So like 100 unique cards, that appeals to me a lot, because that's what I want. I want to be able to have all this different stuff in my deck. I just want it to be like I want it to be like a card collection with a game element, kind of. Not quite, but the whole like card collection thing really appeals to me. So the idea of using all these different cards, I like that a lot. So what's happened? All these lands have come to life. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're not worried about that. So we'll do that. We'll bring out this guy. And then when we attack with him next turn, we'll get some cats, which will help. But these are all tapped. Should we just go for it? I don't see why not. I mean, this guy's not doing much, but... fuck it. We're not here to win. We're here to talk. So we've taken some damage off him at least. And the lifelink kind of helps us a bit. So, so where was I? Formats. So Commander sounds interesting. At first I thought I was getting mixed up between Commander and Planeswalkers, and again, being like stuck in the past. When I first saw Planeswalkers, I was like, I don't understand. I get how they work, but like, I don't see how these are necessarily more interesting. Right, who are we killing? So we could kill her. I feel like this 3/3 forest is the obvious thing to kill. But I'm more concerned about. No, okay, let's just kill the forest. Yeah, Planeswalkers. I just thought this seems like a really clunky way of doing what, like, you know, a big monster kind of already does if you just put some fancy abilities on it. I know that they have a bit more going on with the whole loyalty tokens and stuff. But yeah, I thought I'd rather just see them use the existing. It felt like it didn't need to be a new thing. Oh no. But I am very aware that this is a game that has a large audience, and that audience wants new stuff. Should I attack? Okay, well, you know, at least we get some cats out, and all this stuff happens. So I feel like we did the right thing, and we can bring these out afterwards if we want to, which is good. Well, the charm stray at least. Okay, right. I'm feeling more confident now. So we can bang out that cat, and then we are done. Right, now we're firing. So yeah, Planeswalkers. I was like, I don't get it, but it seems now like legendary creatures are more what people are using in Commander. So you know, you have your like named commander, and you can bring them in. You can play them anytime, and even if they die or get exiled, I think you can play them again at higher cost. But it's the 100 card thing that really appeals to me. And just when people describe it, they describe it as being much more light-hearted almost, and like just being like a bit more freeform, a bit less hyper competitive, especially when you're playing it in like a multiplayer format. So that is something I would like to explore. And going back to John mentioning about Pauper. Pauper Commander sounds like it would be best of both worlds for me, or at least Pauper Highlander. So yeah, I'm very interested in tap all creatures in your opponent's control. Okay, that seems ridiculously useful for us now. Can I do both? No, I can't do both. Well, we'll just do that and potentially win the game. Okay, and then, oh, we can still play. Okay, strictly speaking, I should have done that first. But I think it's kind of irrelevant at this point. So, all this stuff that you can see happening now, where you like set off this domino effect and you get like 1,000,000 or something. I like that in a video game format like this, but the idea of doing that at the table was still like, it still slightly scares me. The idea of tracking all that stuff, but I guess it just comes with experience and learning your deck, and I guess there's a lot of just trusting your opponent. So I am keen to only play with people that I trust. So we have defeated all of the colour challenges now. Most of them are like essentially tutorials. They're kind of like scripted in that you're drawing your cards in a certain order, and it's intended to teach you a lesson. If you are playing Magic Online, Magic Arena, I mean, I think you can add. If you can add people, feel free to add me on here. You know, that's my handle right there. Also, I need to give a big shout out to Scrap Princess, who you may know from things like Deep Carbon Observatory, Fire on the Velvet Horizon, etc. Scrap Princess gave me a shout out for some of these free booster codes. And literally, if you just go and search for like MTG Arena codes, I got all these for free, which is no, some of these were earned, but most of these were free. So I can definitely recommend doing that. So in terms of what I want to actually do now that I've done that, I don't have like a deck. Yeah, I started making a Brawl deck based purely around, because Brawl is kind of like a miniature version of Commander, from what I can tell. And I started doing it with the one like multicolored legendary creature that I had in my collection. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to open, I mean, if you want to watch me open all these packs, I don't know what I'm especially looking for, but I thought I'd get them open and maybe do a little bit of deck building. So what is this? Ravnica. So this is like the multicolor set, right? And another thing that I spoke about is I've written about this on the blog before, about the idea of what was the word? Intrinsic engagement and extrinsic engagement, and how sometimes when I get into like a game, I will hit the wiki for that game and just kind of inhale the wiki, and I almost like remove all of the mystery from the game before I've engaged with the game. And with Magic, obviously, there is a massive risk of that, but also there's so much to learn that you kind of can't just like, you can't become an expert overnight. But what I am trying to do is avoid like looking at competitive stuff. So I'm interested in reading about people's thoughts about card design and stuff, but I am trying to avoid reading about like, oh, this card is junk and this card is completely overpowered, you should put this in your deck. Instead, I'm just going to be like looking at cards like I did when I was 13 and I was going into the gaming store, picking up commons for like 10p, and I'd buy it just because it had like a gorilla on it or something. I thought that was cool. So in terms of colours, what I'm looking for, this is very much like the 3 stages of my life so far. So when I was a young man, a young man or an old child at 13, I guess, I played a lot of, I had like a green deck because I liked all the big monsters. Oh, that seems kind of cool. Jumpstart is also a keyword apparently, which sounds quite which is nice and confusing. So yeah, I used to play green because I liked having the big dinosaurs and like big animals and stuff. And trample, and being able to get loads of mana from your lands. I thought that was cool. Yeah, Siege Worm would have been right up there in my deck when I was 13. But then, maybe I was compensating for something. But then when I came back to it as a early 20s, I enjoyed. I think that the deck that I really enjoyed playing with in Magic Online was a white, and had two. One was white. I think it might have been monocolor white, and it was had a lot of the Gust Cloak cards in it. So those were ones where you could attack with all these Gust Cloak bird soldiers, and if after the blockers had been declared, you could just sort of pull out of the combat. So you could just send out your entire army, and then whoever got blocked, you could just pull them back to safety. And that combined with all of the like combat trickery of that white has access to, like being able to just instantly give someone a +1 or a -1 here and there. That made it kind of like a bluffing game, because like every round I would just like send out everyone, and it made it really difficult for the opponent to know who to block. Oh, we have a Planeswalker. So yeah, see what I mean? Like, I don't really get it. I feel like this adds something to the game without necessarily improving the game. But what do I know about Magic? Nothing. Okay, we have a legendary creature at least. So, but I'm looking for like multicolour legendaries because they're good ones to sort of have as your commander. I know I have some of these wild cards. I've not really looked at using them yet. So yeah, so I also had like a blue and red deck when I was playing online. See, I know I said I wanted a multicolour legendary, but having no way to like gain loyalty seems like it's a bad thing. Okay. So yeah, I enjoyed all that trickery, and the red deck I had, it was red and blue, and it used, is it suspend, or what's the one where you play a card for a lesser cost, and then you put time counters on it, and it comes into play when it runs out of time. So it's like you're playing it essentially with a delay, and it will pop in a number of turns. I had that combined with Storm, which when you cast multiple spells in the same turn, it sort of duplicates the spell. So it was all about building up to one like mega turn. And looking back at it, like, I think I enjoyed it at the time when it worked, but then a lot of the time it just didn't work. It was one of those decks where you either completely stomped your opponent, or it just didn't, the pieces didn't fit together and you didn't get to do it. So I think now I'm actually looking for something a little bit more just fun to play. And a type of deck that I've not really ever done is black. I think I might have had like a zombie themed deck when I was first playing. In fact, I think my friend had a zombie themed deck in black. But I would like to have like a proper, being a bastard black deck where you just get to do lots of nasty things, because that's where I'm at now in my life. So, okay, right. This is core set, so I'm just going to keep on trucking through these because I'm assuming. But what we're looking for really is like a black, a commander that has black and another colour. So a legendary creature with black. No. So I don't know much about the different sets, but I know that Throne of Eldraine did look pretty cool with the whole kind of Arthurian thing going on. And it feels like its mechanics were a relatively good addition from what I can tell. There's been some weird stuff. Like, I don't understand horsemanship. Like, anybody who's kept up to date with like the meta of Magic, if you could explain to me how horsemanship was allowed to happen, or if I'm missing something with it, because it seems to me like it's just the same as fly, but it's a different word. And fly is already kind of bullshit, but at least everyone knows about fly, and everyone has, well, most colours have access to fly, and it's kind of something that you have to build your deck around. But it feels like you would spend 99% of your time not encountering horsemanship, and then when it happens, you don't have an answer for it. So am I missing something with horsemanship as to why it exists? Right. Nice. Yeah, I do like the whole. This feels like with Magic, like, I know that the whole like Magitech stuff and the steampunky stuff is okay, but I think maybe it's something to do with it like being on cards. Like, I do like the kind of classic fantasy, like fairy tale kind of stuff. Speaking of which, this is not classic fantasy fairy tale. This is like a kind of Greek myth based set, I understand, which is also cool to have. We still haven't got our black commander. So Squishy's asking what pulled me back in. So yeah, I kind of got halfway through explaining it. So essentially, people talking about the new D&D set that's coming out, that got me looking at Magic, but I didn't want to get into like the deep end. And then I saw Jumpstart had been released last year, and I think there were some stock issues, but it seems to be available now in most places. So Jumpstart is like a perfect fit for what I wanted to get out of it. And then I hadn't realised that Arena was so easy to use without paying any money, because at the moment I did spend like £5 on whatever the introductory offer is, but I've not bought anything else so far, and I've got a lot of free stuff, so I don't think I will be spending any money. See, you know, another commander potentially, but it's not. We're looking for some black. I've already like taken a dislike for pacifism, because in doing the tutorial it happened a lot in one of the ones that I struggled with before I remembered how the mechanics worked. Right, I'm hoping. I feel like as we get further back. Oh no, as we get further back. Actually, I don't know about the order here. I think we're chronologically we're getting closer to the present day now in terms of releases. I'm hoping there'll be more commander, useful stuff for commander in these later editions. Because that's the thing that I do like about commander, from the sound of it, is like building your deck around one card, and like that's kind of the overarching theme for your deck. You know, rather than the theme being spread across all the cards, obviously, but like you've got a focus for it. Another legendary, but she's monocolor. Again, I guess she kind of like would work with like a red like horde deck, but that's not the kind of deck that I'm looking to make at the minute. So I've seen this art before and it's horrible, but I'm glad to have another one of them. So Zendikar seems to have some cool stuff. I liked the landfall mechanic. It just seems like super elegant. Oh, a mythic rare wildcard. So my understanding is that I can use this for any mythic rare card. So at least we can use this to get a good black and something else commander. So I'm thinking maybe like black. Is it black and green maybe? I don't know. Anyone in the chat that knows much about playing commander, like what's a good black multicolored leader for a brawl deck? Well, we have one black. I can see black and red being fun, actually. I know that. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking like removal and like direct damage are kind of two sides of the same coin. So, what's this guy? Flying, Death Touch, Haste. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So, am I missing a mechanic here? What is a party? Oh, your party consists of up to 1 each of Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and Wizard. I bet they are gutted they used this mechanic before they did the D&D set. Because I understand that the Forgotten Realms set has like these specific class cards. So this guy would work if I had a rogue. Sorry, he is a rogue. So if I had a cleric, a warrior, and a wizard, then everything else would become cheaper. Other creatures have death touch. So I think I like this guy. Can I can't like favourite him or something in here, but we'll remember Zagras, Thief of Heartbeats, is going to be our go-to guy. And we're going to be. I'll be streaming for about another 20 minutes, but I might make this a sort of. I might try something different this week with the streams, where I do like multiple shorter streams rather than like putting everything on that Tuesday night thing. I'm thinking about doing it at this 3 o'clock slot for BST. Right. So again, this is the whole party mechanic. So what set are we on? Is this still Kaldheim? No, this is a different set. Okay, let's smash through these just to see if we get anyone a bit more interesting that we like the look of. I am drawn to sharks. I know there's some big sharks in that recent sets. But I think we'll try making a black and red deck. For Brawl, I should say. Again, if I'm getting into full-on old man yelling at the cloud, then I don't like double-sided cards because I don't like sleeves. I know that if you're playing in person all the time, then sleeves make sense because it's protecting your cards. It makes them easier to shuffle, makes them easier to slide around. But something in me doesn't want to use sleeves. I want to just use the cards. And I know that there is a way around it without using sleeves, but I don't like that you have to use something from outside of the game. But again, this is just me. I do like that. From what I've seen of the Strixhaven stuff, I do like the kind of theme. I know it is obviously a sort of Wizard School is hardly a new concept, but I think it fits quite nicely, and they've got some cool theme in here. So yeah, we're still just keeping an eye out for any legendaries that might be a better leader, but I do like the idea of going black and red. So black and red, no tokens. Yeah, I can't get on with the two-sided cards. I'm so sorry. But like I was saying before, I understand that they've got to make things fresh. You can't make a super elegant game that has new content coming out multiple times per year for coming on for 30 years. I don't think that's really doable. And then our final pack. No more. So let's make a new deck. This one is busted. Can I delete it? Yeah. So we have all these now. So let's make a new deck. And we're playing Brawl. And we're going with Zagras. I do like this big guy. I'm just going mono green with lots of big animals. So we might come back to that another day. So we're going black and red. Okay. Am I being an idiot? Oh, sorry. So I have to actually... Yeah. Okay, so I have to put him in there as the commander. I see. Okay, right. Give me some land suggestions, please, because we'll just leave that on. And yeah, I think our very rough theme, and I have no idea what I'm doing with building a deck. I know roughly what kind of... You want to keep an eye on something on the mana curve. But I'm going to have a go and see what I can make, because I'd rather lose with something I've made myself than win with like a pre-constructed deck at this point. Bear with me. I can see I've got an issue in my OBS. Okay, there we go. Andrew Stewart Golf is asking if I've just started Magic the Gathering Arena. I have. I've played some Magic on and off throughout the years, but it's been a long time. And yeah, I've jumped back in. So, what's this guy's deal then? So we want more creatures in our party. We want a cleric, a warrior, and a wizard. So, can I search for cleric? So we have lots of clerics available to us in black. But what else? So we want party members. Other creatures you control have death touch. So we don't mind if they are low power. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. Well, we're not going to be planning around that. So the whole death touch thing, it would be good if, like, yeah, we want something that people are going to have to block. So we could have a big powerful creature that they're going to have to block, and then we can spread the damage out between blockers and kill them all. Or we can have small creatures that they're going to have to block or let through, and then ways to bump up those, bump up the power on those creatures. So let's just have a go. We're not going to be gaining much life, I don't think. At the moment, I'm just going to throw people in. So I'm not. I know, like, graveyard manipulation is like one of Black's things. Squishy saying things that make tokens. I've just been on like a rant against tokens, and it is completely irrational. But I think you're probably right that tokens could be useful. What's foretell? You may pay 2 and exile this card. But okay, let's just put. We're just going to put a few of each in. So that's our clerics. Warriors. I think that might be. He might be quite useful. I don't hate that. No. Again, I really hesitate to go Goblin, because I had a Goblin deck when I played online with the previous iteration, and I don't know. It just felt like everyone was doing Goblin decks, so I'm not. Let's put them in for now, because he is a warrior. We'll put in a few goblins. And I know we're like splashing a little bit here. So creatures getting haste is quite handy. I don't think that's a great fit. Wizard. We don't have access to any wizards in our collection. That's fine. If that is the case, then I think maybe... Should I put this warrior in? I don't know. Are we going to have that many big monsters like this? But we'll put him in for now. So, I think... I like the idea of lots of things having haste. So at the moment we don't have much at the low end. So I'm gonna put him in just because, you know, it's useful. Is there a keyword for when something must be blocked? Ogre Battle Driver would be nice. Beefs up weaker creatures. I missed the Ogre Battle Driver. Oh no, yeah, we've got Ogre Battle Driver in there. Yeah, is there a keyword for like must be blocked? Like creatures must block this attacker if able. So can't block. We kind of want people to be blocking if we're doing a lot of death touch. This is a big one, but I think that's actually quite nice. We'll go for some goblins. I know it's, and I don't mind them not being able to block. This could be nice. Discard your hand until the end of turn. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So if we're going like wide, that could be quite nice to be able to pop out at the same time. So yeah, my curve is all over the place, I know. But even though, like, I think Death Touch, we already have access to Death Touch, I feel like getting Lifelink and 1/1 on an instant is kind of useful. We're not really doing graveyard manipulation. That can be nice. Where are we at? 42 cards. Is it? It's already put my lands in there. Double Strike is not really useful if he's already got... well, it is useful. He already has Death Touch, so I guess it already helps. It helps when he's attacking the player, when he's damaging the player, but still. That's quite big as well, but so I feel like we're getting lots of big stuff, and we're getting lots of big stuff, and we're a bit out of balance at the minute, but we can come back to that. I kind of like that. We already have Death Touch, we don't need it. I do like the Witch's Cauldron, but I don't think we'll do that. That's kind of handy. He's useful. That's pretty handy. It's not that handy actually. Oh, I have to find it to remove it. Okay. I like that. This curve is still ridiculous. Do I need like some big stuff at the end? That's handy. Oh, so I can have two different versions of the same card. That seems like I'm not going to do that. It seems seems against the spirit of the rules. So I know tutors, people are big on that. Let's get it. We'll put in a bit more destruction. This is very, very slapdash. Oh. I quite like that. I'm just putting in stuff that I like. So let's go. What are the big ones that we've got? So Demon of Loathing, Flying, Trample. I mean, that's pretty nice. And then let's. What are the big red cards we've got access to? Some ways to draw cards would be useful. Yeah. I agree. So if I do that and search for draw, let's do the rights. I think this Witch's Cauldron might be useful. I do like Peer into the Abyss, but it's I don't know if it's actually terrible. We have Thriller Possibility, that would be useful. And then finally, we need something. We need a big finish. What about just some big damage that doesn't rely on having a load of? Because at the moment we are leaning a bit towards red. Sorry, a bit towards black. So what's a... I don't like random as an element. Inescapable Blaze and... let's just go for... that's kind of useful. Okay, right, done. Now, let's see what happens with... Oh, it needs a name. What was our guy's name? Zagras. So we'll name it Zagras Brawl. And we will take it for a quick spin. I've not yet played an actual normal game. In this, I've only played in the colour challenge. So let's go Brawl. We will go with Zagras Brawl. And we will hope that fate is kind to us and we get a gentle opponent. So it sounds like I missed the boat on Jumpstart being in Arena, like they've taken it out, which is weird. Like it seems like I guess I don't know they want people focusing on other things, but I feel like Jumpstart is maybe it's more of a physical product that they're kind of pitching it as like new players to get into rather than online people. So we're playing against red. Is that awful? That's not too awful. We would like a red at some point, but it's a free mulligan, isn't it? Let's do it. Okay, at least we got one of each. So we can put out some stuff. I hadn't realized. I'd forgotten that like we have to actually pay for our commander. So let's fight Goblin with Goblin. We've got the same avatar, the same battlefield. So I'm thinking we want to get the swamp out, and then I think we could just get Nest Robber out and start swinging. Whenever an opponent controller Yeah, we probably want to get Malakir out, Malakir Coolblade out early. Especially if this guy is going with a Goblin deck. So we will Swamp. We will Malakir. And we will not attack. Because we want to kill. To beef up this guy. So Chandra Heart, oh, it's a Planeswalker. Okay, so he's going to be doing some direct damage, isn't he? Whenever a creature does, put 1/1. What? I missed what happened to our Goblin, but we won't be blocking, I don't think. Not right now. Oh, was our Goblin like exiled or something? Okay, fine. We do have a land. For a second I thought we were in trouble. Haste. Let's maybe this one. Yeah, let's get this zombie out. So then we can use these zombies to block, which will be nice. So we need to draw some lands. Yeah, this Soul Hunter Rakshasa is probably not an amazing pick. Only because we're not going to have loads of swamps. Ah, right, okay, well let's just hit him, I reckon. But we would like some lands, please. But it's also nice to just be able to do damage. So if all else is the same, I think we'll get this Nest Robber out. We might as well play the Cauldron just so it's there. Ah. See, if I knew my deck better, that would be handy. Let's do this. And let's do that. And I don't really mind any of these dying. I don't really want Malakir to die. So we'll hold him back. And I think we'll just do that and see what happens. So he's going to block, presumably, the Berserker. Yeah. And he's probably going to kill Malakir Coolblade, now I think about it. Yeah, I should have seen that coming, but... Oof. Well, you know, we are quite far ahead, so it's not too scary. The swamp is good. We are still 2 lands away from being able to play our commander. It's almost enough to kill him. So we can take him down to like 1 at least. Do I have any abilities that I'm forgetting about? I cannot do that. So we're still in a good place here. Unless he just does something that wipes out my entire side, which is always a possibility. So more dragons. Okay. Cool. And I can even use that to make sure that someone can't be blocked if it comes to it. Okay, so I think this is a done deal. So we'll do that. Oh, okay. Well, that will do it. Okay, so I didn't get to use my commander, but the fact that we won means that surely I am a deck building prodigy, and that was a success. So yeah, we might come back. Oh, what do I get? Oh, so was that a deck that I got there? Ah, so Jumpstart is a thing. You just have to kind of unlock it, I think. So it's an event, and yeah, these are the things that I got with my like starter pack. And you can, okay, you can play. You have to pay to play. But I think we will call it a day there for today. And yeah, I might continue to track my like journey through this labyrinth. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.